This is AI.R. Artists in Residence Broadcasting, coming to you once a week from New York City. Hello, I'm John Cullum and my wife Emily.
And we're going to do a post today about the fact that you are not employed.
That's a dreary subject.
No, I'm thinking about all the people that I know that are unemployed, mostly actors and actresses,
right,
and dancers.
Right. Well, there's a lot of unemployed people, a lot more than there used to be. I mean, actors are always unemployed about half the time. You know, George C. Scott and I did a two-character play, and we were working for the Circle and Square and getting paid very little money. But we both agreed that no matter whether we were making $1 million or a few $100, whenever a play came to an end, the actor always felt that he was never going to work again. And that happens to actors so frequently. How many other fields do you have where you may be unemployed 3 or 4 times a year? And I mean, most people, if they have to seek a job once every 10 years, they think it's terrible.
The interesting thing about being an actor to me also is that the people that you work with become your family. And then your family's gone.
That's right.
And you're alone in the world again.
Yes.
And then contacting your former family is a little strange because...
That's the one I never thought of it. Not only do you lose a job, you lose an entire family. You know, that's terrible. And that's true. I mean, I just did that yesterday. And I'm feeling a little bit blue today, and it'll get worse.
Well, Scottsboro Boys was a very fun job to have.
Yeah.
And it had a good run.
Yes, it did.
And the family of Scottsboro Boys was unique.
Yes, they were. It was an extraordinary. It was a high-powered family, and it was almost fanatically dedicated bunch of guys.
Talk about the fact that every night before you went on stage, you had to get together with the boys and do a gospel.
Well, that's not unusual to have a circle group before a show. At least it's not as unusual. I never did it when I was a young man or a young actor, but it happens more frequently. But this was different from anything. It was an all-black company. I was the only white guy in it. And it was about the Scottsboro Boys, who were 9 fellows that had been condemned to death 5 different times for raping 2 women that they had never touched. But they were a big item in 1931, and then they just faded away completely. And I don't even remember hearing about it when I was, of course, I was from the South, and we didn't talk about those things. But these boys felt that it was a mission for them, and each night we'd have a meeting before we went on the stage, and they would sing, and they would give testimony. Yeah, then they would give testimonials, and they would talk about how inspired they were to be able to do this and bring these Scottsboro Boys back to life, and what an important and reverent job it was. And they would sometimes lead prayer, and every night would sing songs. A lot of them were religious songs, and it was an exceptional company.
Did you ever say anything about yourself in those gospel meetings, or did you stay apart from them?
No, I sometimes they almost insisted that I say something every now and then.
What would you say? Give me a preview, a little preview.
I was very inarticulate. I was never very good. I was never very good at testimonials. And these kids are wonderful, very outspoken, very confident, very heartfelt in their feelings and devotion to what they're doing. They love theater, and they're very. But we're getting away from the idea of being unemployed.
Well, no, this is interesting because you wouldn't be unemployed if
you
the show hadn't closed.
Right.
And the show closed because the price of tickets, $1.20 per seat. 120, I'm sorry, would keep away the audience that really wanted to see it.
Yes, it was a strange situation because it was something that people in the theater loved it, and yet people in the theater who are so often unemployed couldn't afford to pay $120 to $130 for the seats, and they would only come when they could get discounts.
No, I'm glad that you are now an unemployed actor because I now have a husband again.
That's right.
Okay. Thank you, John.
You're welcome, Emily. I'm glad to be home.
John and Emily are now signing off for Air Broadcasting.
We'll see you. This is AI.R. See you next week.